You see them across the room. Your heart races, your palms sweat, and a million what ifs paralyze you. The fear of rejection keeps you frozen, watching your chance walk away. Most people ignore the invisible science of attraction until it's too late. 99% missed the last part of this video, risking a lifetime of regret simply because they didn't know how the human brain actually falls in love. Silent signals. You are standing across the room, and there they are. The person who just completely derailed your train of thought. Your pulse quickens, your palms get a little clammy, and a massive wave of social anxiety washes over you. It is terrifying, isn't it? We build up this massive wall of fear in our minds, convincing ourselves that approaching them is a monumental, life-altering risk. We worry about being awkward, about stumbling over our words, about the crushing sting of public rejection. But what if I told you that human attraction isn't some mystical, random lottery? What if the overwhelming anxiety you feel is just a lack of understanding of the hidden social cues that govern our interactions? The greatest myth about approaching someone you like is that the interaction begins the moment you say hello. That is fundamentally false. The truth is, you begin communicating with this person long before you ever open your mouth. The human brain is a brilliant, highly evolved decoding machine. In a fraction of a second, before conscious thought even kicks in, we scan the room and assess everyone around us for warmth, intentions, and safety. This means your approach actually starts with your silent signals. If you are hunched over your phone, shoulders rolled inward, wearing a mask of tension, you are broadcasting a massive, invisible shield. You must master the silent language of the pre-approach. Let us talk about the absolute most critical indicator of approachability: fronting. This is a behavioral concept that will completely change how you view a room forever. When we are genuinely interested in someone or something, we subconsciously align our top, our torso, and our toes directly toward them. If you want to know if the person you like is open to a conversation, look deeply at their physical alignment. Are their feet pointed firmly toward the exit, or are they shifted slightly in your direction? If they are locked in a tight, closed circle with friends, their shoulders acting like a physical barricade, it is not the time. But if their stance is slightly open, they are biologically signaling openness. Now, you need to test the waters before you ever cross the floor. You need to look for the universal green lights of human connection. The most powerful one is the eyebrow flash. It happens incredibly fast. A rapid, involuntary upward flick of the eyebrows when we see something or someone we find intriguing or pleasing. It is the brain's way of saying that it recognizes and likes what it sees. If you catch their eye from across the room and you see that subtle lift of the brow, accompanied by a soft parting of the lips or a fleeting, barely there smile, that is not a coincidence. That is a deeply ingrained biological invitation. They are silently giving you the permission to close the physical distance. But what if you look over and they immediately look away? Please do not panic. This is exactly where most people get it completely wrong. Looking away is not an automatic sign of rejection. You have to observe exactly how they break that eye contact. If they sharply look up and away, scanning the ceiling, or immediately turning their back to you, that is indeed a closed signal. However, if they look down, drop their chin slightly, and let a small, shy smile touch the corners of their mouth, you have just witnessed a highly positive, submissive social cue. They are intimidated in the best way possible. This downward gaze is a beautiful sign of vulnerability and a clear runway for you to make your move. Before you take that first step, you must optimize your own physiological state. When we are nervous, our body rapidly triggers a survival response. We literally try to shrink, minimizing the space we take up to avoid becoming a target. You have to consciously, deliberately override this primitive instinct. Take a deep breath and expand your chest. Let your shoulders drop down and back. Keep your hands visible, entirely out of your pockets. Visible hands are the ultimate psychological symbol of trust and safety. When your brain feels your body taking up space with relaxed confidence, it drastically lowers your cortisol levels. You transition from looking like a nervous threat to projecting magnetic warmth. Understand that courage is not the complete absence of fear. It is the willingness to take action despite the overwhelming presence of that fear. The physiological sensations of anxiety, the racing heart, the shallow breath, are biologically identical to the sensations of excitement. The only difference is the narrative you attach to them in your mind. Stop telling yourself that you are terrified to talk to them. Start silently declaring that you are thrilled by the possibility of knowing them. By actively reframing your internal dialogue, you physically alter your external demeanor. You stop vibrating with nervous energy and start radiating a calm, deeply attractive curiosity. The stage is set. Walk over. Verbal spark? You have crossed the room. The physical distance is closed, and now comes the moment that paralyzes the sharpest of minds, the opening line. We put an agonizing amount of pressure on these first few words. We desperately search our brains for the cleverest, most witty, or most impressive thing to say, terrified that a simple greeting will render us entirely forgetful. Please throw out the concept of the perfect pickup line forever. Rehearsed lines sound exactly like what they are: inauthentic, robotic, and completely detached from reality. The brain is exquisitely tuned to detect inauthenticity. When you perform a rehearsed line, you instantly trigger their psychological defenses and the connection dies. Instead of trying to be endlessly fascinating, you must become deeply observant. The absolute best way to open a conversation is by using a context opener. This means anchoring your first words to the shared reality you are both currently experiencing. Human beings naturally crave common ground. When you comment on the music being slightly too loud, the bizarre piece of art on the wall, or the painfully slow line at the coffee shop, you are instantly creating a micro-alliance. You are signaling that you are in this exact same environment, experiencing the exact same thing. It takes all the intense pressure off you as an individual and shifts the focus to a safe, neutral topic. It is the ultimate low-stakes invitation. If the environment does not offer an obvious opening, the next most powerful tool in your psychological arsenal is the opinion opener. The human brain experiences a massive surge of dopamine, the pleasure and reward chemical, when we are asked to generously share our thoughts. We literally love talking about our own preferences. Instead of delivering a flat compliment that requires nothing more than a polite thank you, ask a question that demands a subjective answer. Ask if they recommend the drink they are holding, or if the book they are reading is actually worth the hype. You are immediately validating their intellect and granting them a subtle position of status, which feels incredibly good to them. We also need to talk about the sheer mechanics of your voice in those crucial first seconds. When social anxiety strikes, our vocal cords naturally tighten. Our pitch artificially rises, and we often speak from the top of our throats, sounding breathless, rushed, and profoundly unsure. You have to anchor your voice back to reality. The secret here is to speak exclusively on the exhale. Take a quiet, deep breath into your belly right before you speak, and let your words ride smoothly out on the outgoing air. This naturally lowers your vocal pitch, completely eliminating that nervous, squeaky tone. A lower, resonant voice subconsciously signals high competence, emotional stability, and deep emotional intelligence. Once the initial exchange happens, you must aggressively break the conversational script. The standard questions about what they do for a living or where they are from are conversational dead ends. They trigger mindless autopilot responses in the brain. They have answered these exact questions 1,000 times, and no new dopamine is produced. You want to trigger cognitive novelty. Ask them something that forces them to actually pause and think. Ask what the absolute best part of their week has been so far, or if they are working on any secret passion projects. You are asking them to access the joyful parts of their memory, and subconsciously, they will link those highly positive feelings directly to you. During these first few minutes of dialogue, you must actively fight the liking gap. This is a fascinating psychological phenomenon where we chronically, consistently underestimate how much the other person is actually enjoying our company. Because we are so hyper-focused on our own internal awkwardness, we incorrectly assume the other person sees all our flaws. They do not. They are likely just as worried about how they are coming across as you are. You must assume the burden of comfort. Make it your primary mission to make them feel deeply relaxed. Smile warmly, nod slowly to show you are truly listening, and give them your unhurried attention. When you assume they already like you, your vibe becomes magnetic. The goal of the initial approach is never to secure a date or a phone number within the first 60 seconds. That is far too much pressure and inevitably leads to desperate, forced behavior. The only goal of the verbal spark is to establish a baseline of mutual intrigue and safety. You are simply testing the conversational waters to see if your energies actually align. If they give short one-word answers, their body remains turned away and their eyes constantly scan the room, gracefully wish them a wonderful day, and step back. But if they lean in, if they ask a question back, if they laugh and hold your gaze, the spark has caught. You have navigated the hardest part. Now turn that spark into a flame. Deep magnetism. The hardest part is officially over. You are standing face to face, the conversation is flowing, and the initial awkwardness has completely melted away. But how do you ensure this interaction isn't just a polite, forgettable chat? How do you transition from a friendly stranger to someone they cannot stop thinking about? The answer lies in the psychology of highlighting. We naturally gravitate toward people who make us feel like the absolute best version of ourselves. Most people try to impress a crush by bragging or trying to be the smartest person in the room. This is a massive social mistake. Magnetism is never about proving how amazing you are. It is about proving how incredibly fascinating you find them. To do this effectively, you must master the art of the follow-up question. When they mention something they genuinely enjoy, a unique hobby, a recent trip, a random interest, do not just politely nod and pivot the conversation back to your own life. Dig deeper. Ask them the vital why behind the what. If they love hiking, ask them what it is about being out in the mountains that completely resets their mind. When you ask these deeply probing, emotionally driven questions, you force them to access their core values. They start talking about their passions, their eyes light up, and their energy shifts. Because you are holding the space for this joy, their brain naturally links you to those intense feelings. As you talk, lean into the subtle, profound power of behavioral synchrony. Human beings are deeply tribal creatures at our core. We are biologically wired to trust and feel intensely comfortable with people who are physically in sync with us. If they speak softly and slowly, gently lower your own volume and carefully match their pacing. If they use expansive, expressive hand gestures, allow your own hands to become slightly more animated. This is not about blatantly mimicking their every move, which becomes creepy incredibly fast. It is about matching their overall emotional and physical cadence. When your rhythms align, their brain sends a massive subconscious signal that says you truly understand them. Now, we reach the most critical, often completely bungled phase of the interaction, the exit. Most people stay far too long. They ride the high of a great conversation until they completely run out of things to say, allowing an uncomfortable, agonizing silence to settle heavily over the interaction. They leave when the energy has entirely flatlined. You must leverage the peak end rule. This psychological principle dictates that we judge an entire experience based on how it felt at its absolute peak and exactly how it ended. You want to leave them at the absolute height of the conversation, right after a huge shared laugh or a deeply resonant moment. You must have the discipline to end it while it is thrilling. How do you actually do this without seeming abrupt or disinterested? You use a graceful, time-constrained exit paired with a low-stakes invitation. You glance down briefly, smile warmly, and say that you have to get back to your friends, but that you have absolutely loved talking to them. You suggest continuing the conversation over coffee sometime. It is incredibly confident, highly respectful of their time, and completely removes the heavy pressure of a formal, high-stakes date. Notice you are not nervously begging for their number. You are making a clear statement of intention. If they agree, simply hand them your phone with the contact screen open. It is smooth, effortless, and projects immense self-worth. What if they decline? What if they say they have a partner, or they are just not looking for anything right now? You must aggressively reframe your entire perception of rejection. Rejection is absolutely never a reflection of your fundamental worth as a human being. It is simply a lack of alignment in that specific, fleeting moment in time. Maybe they had a terrible day, maybe they are emotionally unavailable, or maybe your personalities just do not mesh. A gracious, completely unfazed response to a decline is the ultimate sign of high self-worth. You simply smile genuinely, wish them well, and walk away with your head held high. You did not lose anything. You gained the certainty that you possess true courage. To approach someone you genuinely like is to willingly step into the arena of vulnerability. It is wildly uncomfortable, but it is the exact place where true, lasting human connection is forged. Stop waiting for the perfect, magical moment to casually fall into your lap. The universe deeply rewards those who decode the signals, embrace the terrifying awkwardness, and bravely speak their truth. Your mind will always try to tell you to play it safe, to stay quiet, and to remain unseen in the background. But your heart knows that a life lived in hiding is a life half lived. Read the room, let your warmth radiate outward, and step forward with profound grace. Let the beautifully messy reality of human connection begin. Be honest. What is the exact thought that usually stops you right before you walk up to someone? Drop it in the comments below. Let's decode it together.